Passion, violence, music, and faith, these are the themes that run through a new novel set in the bucolic Eastern Tennessee region. Joining us is internationally best-selling author Janet Beard with her newly released book, The Ballad of Laurel Springs. It's good to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So you were born and raised in East Tennessee. Was this a setting that you've always wanted to feature in one of your novels?
Yeah, I've set both my last two novels in East Tennessee. It's funny because I haven't lived there myself in over 20 years. I left to go to college and haven't come back for various reasons, but I guess it just remains a really big part of me and who I am and what I'm interested in.
Well, tell us more about The Ballad of Laurel Springs.
Sure. It follows 8 generations of women in a family, sometimes mothers and daughters. Sometimes the connections are a little more complicated, but they're all related, and each chapter jumps forward a generation. So you see how both this family and the community where they live transform through time, from a sort of extremely rural, isolated mountain community to a bustling tourist town.
Oh, interesting. So you wanted to have that juxtaposition because, of course, life has changed everywhere in this country, and so has it in that part of the world, Eastern Tennessee.
Absolutely. The landscape completely transforms, and also I should mention that each chapter is inspired by a different Appalachian folk song. So that's another element of how things change through time, is that all of these women are passing along their stories through song. And so you kind of see how what they sing and the stories they tell change through time.
Is this how you were raised? I mean, is this something that you were brought up just kind of knowing and it being part of your life as well?
Yeah, absolutely. My mother and grandmother both sang these old songs, and I was very lucky that there was a lot of focus where I grew up on the culture of the mountains, the folklore. We would have storytellers come to our school and that sort of thing, and it always fascinated me. So this book's been a long time coming because it's something I've been interested in since I was a kid.
History has played a theme in your past novels. Another bestseller, the poster behind you, The Atomic City Girls. This was set back in World War II era. So why does history fascinate you?
Well, it's just always, was my favorite subject at school. I love stories. I think that's part of it. I loved, reading and English, and I loved history because for me, history was just another way to learn fascinating stories about real life.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give our audience some history on yourself. So you were born and raised in Eastern Tennessee. You ended up studying screenwriting at NYU. So what was it like for a Southern girl to move to the big city and study there?
Well, I was the kind of Southern girl who, from the minute I was old enough to think about it, wanted to move to New York City. So I love New York. I lived there for about 10 years, and I think it's a very fun place to be young and exciting and all of that. And I was interested in film and writing, and that felt like the center of it all. But yeah, there was definitely culture shock. There was, there were things I didn't realize I didn't know till I got there that made me, stick out.
Yeah, New York does that to a person. It certainly does. But you are an inspiration for other young women who want to write, who want to explore the world, and the book just sounds fabulous. I want to also mention that you're going to be having a lunch. This is going to be in Beaufort. It's a Beaufort lunch with authors, Tuesday, December 7th, happening at noon, and that's at the Belfair Club House. So you want to make sure that you get your tickets, you head out there, and have a wonderful time. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you, Janet.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks. We're back after this.